Chapter 12. The Path to Power. Graceful fingers caress the book's ancient leather cover, like a mother stroking the face of her newborn baby. But for Lin Lai, this book is far more precious than any child ever could be. It is a key which unlocks not only the doors of time, but of power. And last night, for a few nauseating minutes, she thought she had lost it. She became careless, inattentive. Reveling in her victory, she forgot how quickly loyalty can turn to treachery, and she let her guard down. She almost paid for her mistake with the Book of Relics itself. But fate was kind to her, and the book was returned. Now there is another who will pay. The path to power is paved with many sacrifices. It seems like a lifetime ago that her father shared those words with her. At the time, she thought he sounded melodramatic. She finally realizes just how true those words are. A sudden booming knock at the door disrupts her thoughts. She jumps with surprise, looking up from the book and into the mirror above the dresser. "What is it?" she calls, annoyed at the interruption. "I gathered everyone as you requested," replies a powerful male voice with a thick Scottish accent. "We're outside in the parking lot. Blue is there too." Lin notes his hesitancy in speaking that final sentence. Sometimes loyalty is earned with love. Other times it must be coerced through fear. Today is a day for the latter. "Good," she says. "I will be there in 1 minute." Lin opens the top drawer of the motel dresser and gingerly places the Book of Relics inside. She covers it with a folded white sheet, then shuts the drawer to conceal her treasure. Although she won't be apart from it long, she wants to be sure it is hidden from searching eyes and protected from greedy hands. Before turning away from the mirror, she notices what she is wearing. Khaki hiking shorts and a bright blue tank top aren't exactly the image of ruthlessness she would like to project, but they'll have to do. There is no time to change right now. As she reaches for the sleek, black bow and arrow-stocked quiver lying on her queen-size bed, she detects a tremor in her slender hands. She pauses, closes her eyes, sucks in a deep breath, holds it for 3 seconds, then blows it out loudly. As she does, she envisions herself exhaling her own weakness. Twice more she does this before reopening her eyes. The moment of hesitation is over. When she reaches for her bow again, her hands are steady with resolve. After all, she didn't become her university's top archer by doubting herself. Lin slings the quiver onto her back, then adjusts it to the perfect position. She must be able to reach back and grab its many razor-sharp arrows with ease. Gripping the bow in her left hand, she adopts an archer's pose. She draws the bowstring, ensuring that it has proper tension and is in working order. All is exactly as it should be. Lin approaches her motel room's door and stops there. She takes one more deep, relaxing breath, then opens it and steps outside. It is scarcely mid-morning, but central Indiana's heat and humidity are already building. She and her attendants have wasted too much of the day. They should be on the road, traveling eastward, putting as much distance as possible between themselves and any potential pursuers. She must make quick work of the task at hand. Of the traitor at hand. Lin peers down from the second-floor walkway. A handful of people have assembled upon the blacktop below. 7 pairs of eyes stare up at her, expectant and anxious. 1 pair does not. Lin takes the cement slab staircase down to ground level. As she descends, she takes careful stock of her nervous crew. Attendants, she reminds herself. They are subordinates, not equals, never equals. There is the gangly, pale, and grim-faced stoker, her medic. The stocky British-Asian fellow next to him is simply called Q. He's her technology and equipment expert. Mouse with his quick and beady eyes has no area of specialty other than following orders efficiently and with a dog-like desire to please. The plump woman beside him, who goes by the name Caesar, also oversees many of the group's odds and ends, but with a special emphasis on mealtime duties. Cook and Columbia, two women who are total opposites in every way but one, are the group's navigation and transportation specialists. Of course, there is also Redbeard. He's the one who knocked on her motel door. The Scottish Special Forces soldier has served as her right-hand man for over a year. Among all her attendants, his is the only opinion she truly respects when it comes to strategy and planning. While she regards the others as useful in their own ways, she views Redbeard as an invaluable asset in the pursuit of her goals. Finally, Lin's eyes rest upon the woman kneeling in the middle of the group. Her hands and feet are bound behind her, mouth gagged with an old strip of cloth. Terror fills her emerald green eyes. As she watches Lin Lai descend the stairs, her entire body quakes with fear. "Good morning, Blue," Lin says, her voice too sickly sweet to be genuine. Approaching the captive woman, she clucks her tongue like a mother scolding a child. "My, you look terrible. Trouble sleeping last night?" Blue doesn't make a sound. She stares forward, desperately avoiding eye contact. "My apologies," says Lin. She crouches and unties Blue's gag. "It must be impossible to answer with this in your mouth. Now what do you have to say for yourself?" It wasn't what you think," Blue stammers. Her lofty British accent doesn't sound so noble with its fearful quiver. "I wasn't trying to steal the book. I was just curious. Wanted a peek inside, that's all." "Ah, so this was all just a misunderstanding," Lin exclaims. "Just a misunderstanding," confirms Blue. "Then Redbeard and Columbia were simply misunderstanding when they caught you preparing to drive off in one of my vehicles. And when I searched your backpack, it was my misunderstanding that I found the Book of Relics inside. Was that some other ancient book dedicated to the pieces of a different time machine? And was I misunderstanding your intentions to find the relics without us? To steal all my power for yourself?" Blue lowers her eyes but says nothing. Like a snake striking its prey, Lin seizes Blue's jaw and forces her chin upward. "Look at me when I speak to you," she hisses, also sounding like an angry snake. "I do not care that you were once some British baroness, and I do not care what kings or queens you once dined with. In my new world, you are whoever and whatever I decide, and I say you are a worm." Blue's shuddering intensifies. Frightened tears drip from her cheeks onto the blacktop below. "Please," she whispers, struggling to find her voice. "Please don't hurt me. I will never disobey or betray you again, I promise. I will be loyal to you every hour, every second of my life. I swear it." Lin lets go of Blue's face. She feels another flutter of hesitation's wings beating inside her stomach. As in the motel room, she closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. When she opens them again, she looks at Redbeard and says, "Cut her ropes." Redbeard appears surprised at the command, but also relieved. He unsheathes a long knife from his belt and kneels beside Blue. It doesn't take the sharp blade long to slice through her bonds. Blue is now weeping tears of joy. Through her blubbering, she repeats the words, "Thank you," at least a dozen times. "Stand up," Lin orders. Blue does. Seizing a shoulder, Lin spins Blue until she is facing the opposite direction. Across the motel parking lot is a line of trees, which marks the edge of a forest. "You served me well for a time," says Lin. "But the hour of your usefulness is past. I can no longer trust you, so here we must part ways. Forever." "No," begs Blue. "Please don't send me away. I don't want to be alone again, please." My judgment is decided, and it will not be undone, says Lin. She points to the forest beyond the parking lot. See those trees? You will enter them, and you will not return. I never want to see your traitor's face again. Do you understand? Blue seems to realize that no amount of pleading will reverse her fate. Wiping the tears from her cheeks, she nods solemnly. Then good luck, whispers Lin, and goodbye. Blue doesn't run, but she does make quickly for the trees. She realizes, perhaps, that she caught Lin Lai in a rare moment of mercy and doesn't want to press her good fortune. Lin turns toward the rest of her people. They appear relieved. While they didn't condone Blue's traitorous actions, they also had no desire to see her punished too severely. It is a weakness Lin cannot allow. Not within herself, not among her people. Like a cracked whip, she doubles back to face Blue again. The traitor has almost arrived within the safety of the trees. In one fluid motion, Lin raises her bow, notches an arrow, and lets it fly. Before anyone can raise a cry of surprise or protest, her bowstring hums again as she sends a second arrow on its way. Blue doesn't make a sound as her body crumples into the long grass. Now I can be certain we have parted ways forever, Lin says, making sure she speaks loudly enough for all her attendants to hear. She turns to find their faces painted with shock and fear. Her gaze shifts deliberately from one to the other as she addresses them. Remember the oaths of loyalty you swore to me, and do not forget them. If you do, there is no amount of luck which will rescue you from my wrath. Are there any misunderstandings, or have I made myself clear? 7 heads nod, and 7 pairs of lips mumble their understanding. Good, says Lin. Follow me, and you will not only see great things, you will become them. But make no mistake. There may be princes and princesses in the new world I will make, but there can only be one Empress of Time. Like an immediate challenge to Lin Lai's declarations, the faint drone of an engine draws her attention upward. There, sailing miles above them across the sky, is a small jet. Her jaw drops, and a new rage boils within her. She snarls his name, once so loved, now so loathed. Ettore! The rest of her attendants exchange alarmed glances. Then every eye turns to Lin for instructions, a hive of bees looking as one to their queen. Pointing at Mouse and Caesar, Lin says, Bury her quickly. The rest of you, pack your things. As soon as Blue is in the ground, we leave. Lin hurries to her motel room. She barely makes it to the bathroom toilet before she throws up. Afterward, she allows herself a single minute to cry. Blue is the first person she has ever killed. When Lin is done, she wipes her eyes, rinses her mouth, and washes her face. She stares at herself in the bathroom mirror. Except for the blue tank top, she again appears hard and merciless. She prays it will be easier next time, because she knows there will be a next time. Once more she hears her father's clear voice in her ears. The path to power is paved with many sacrifices. Lin Lai has now laid her first brick upon that path. And if her father's words are indeed true, many more will follow.